Hello, welcome to another English Sparkling with Tweedy video. I'm going to be tasting that Tinwood Estate Blanc de Noirs that I picked up when I was down near Chichester the other day. And as the other food pairing video seemed to do reasonably well, I'm going to have a pizza with it. It's lunchtime, I happen to fancy a pizza. I'm absolutely no expert on food and wine pairings. And there's that old saying about champagne, that champagne goes with everything, and I believe that probably therefore extends to English sparkling as well. I may have a slice of pizza first, and then perhaps we could talk a bit about the wine. So, Tinwood Estate Blanc de Noirs, as it says on the side label there. It's a blend of Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. It's from 2018. 2018, that fabulous year for English wine, English sparkling in particular, with amazing yields. Best ever year, I think, in those terms. Very good ripeness of the fruit and all of that. Lovely wisp of, what do you call that? Mist, smoke, vapour coming off that as I open it. Quite a pale gold colour there, and I feel like I can see a greenish tinge, but that may just be because I'm looking at it against a green background here. On the nose, I'm initially being met with fruit character that I might think would be more likely to come from Chardonnay. Sort of appley note to it. Then maybe things like gooseberries, possibly even a hint of kiwi fruit there. That's quite unusual. Berry fruit, but I'm thinking of kind of green fleshed berry fruit. And maybe again I'm being tricked by this perception that that's got a slightly greenish tinge to it and it's putting thoughts into my head. Not the obvious kind of berry fruit you'd expect to find from a Pinot Noir dominant blend, or Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier dominant blend, which would be sort of darker fruits and some stone fruit and some hedgerow fruits. This is gooseberry and chums. Green gages. On the palate, light feeling to it, that the mouthfeel of that, very delicate, very light. I don't mean light as in low ABV necessarily, I think it's a typical ABV, but it sort of suspends off the tongue almost from the effervescence. Again, sort of greenish fruit twinges to that. Might be thinking of a little bit of green apple now. There's something citrus in there, going on that green theme. I'm tempted to say lime. It is zingy, but not searingly so. Not quite what I expected for a Blanc de Noir. I was expecting more red fruit and or stone fruit. This is something quite green, a different fruit bowl to the one I was imagining. Almost on the nose, a slight whiff of that kind of green pepper and bell pepper. That's not something I'm used to finding in sparkling wine at all. That's something you occasionally get in Burgundy, red wine. Perhaps my nose and or my palate are having a bit of a funny day today and they're taking me in directions I wasn't expecting. But the notes on the side definitely say the fruit character is dark berry fruits. And I'm getting berries, but anything but dark. Green berries. How does it go with the pizza? It's just a margarita with olives on. Keeping it simple. I mean, I could make up some flowery nonsense about how apparently the acidity and the freshness is a refreshing foil. You often see things like that justifies it going with a pizza. I certainly wouldn't put this top of my list for an ideal wine to accompany this pizza. If it had really exhibited more of those dark berry fruits, somehow that would seem more fitting. And I don't know if that's just, again, some silly suggestion inside my head that things that are made from red fruits go with a pizza because that's got red sauce on it. Not quite sure what has gone on here then, because the perception I have of this wine seems to be so at odds with how it's described on the label and what I would expect from a Blanc de Noir. Two possible theories. The first, very likely, is that I've just got it wrong somehow. I don't know if I've somehow tainted the experience by eating pizza with it. Perhaps that's such a jarring pairing that has somehow affected my perception of this wine. Nosing it again now, I feel like I have a very, very subtle whiff of that struck match note or something roughly adjacent to that. And I almost wonder if this may be a tiny bit faulty because the fruit character just is not exhibiting the way that it's supposed to, the way I believe it's supposed to. It's just so much greener than I would expect it to be. The struck match thing is a byproduct of those volatile sulfur compounds. In some ways that can be considered a plus for wine. A lot of these faults are quite nuanced things where in tiny amounts they can be considered a benefit to the wine and larger amounts they're considered a fault. So perhaps there has been a little bit of volatile sulfur compound impact on this. For 2018, that abundant warm year, the best chance England was ever going to have to make wonderfully ripe, perfect grapes, I would expect something really sort of full of luscious, dark fruit, not something that is a bit green. not quite doing what I want from a Blanc de Noir. It's a bit too much Blanc and not enough Noir, in my opinion. Anyway, cheers.